And good evening. Welcome to another edition of Coach's Corner here on the Highlander Activity Network, live from the Hack on this Wednesday night. And we are going to wrap up, unfortunately, the volleyball season, but Coach Rebecca Erickson joining us. And I guess, Coach, we'll step back to that Fargo South game, the Fargo South match and the play-in. Kind of a bad break. No, I hope that's not a pun. With Addie Quilvang early on in that match, she goes down with an injury. How did that affect the team when one of your leaders goes down like that?
You know, I've been thinking about it a lot since the match because I feel that was a game we should have won. And I wish I could say that I think that's why we lost, but it's not. We opened the set 1-6. Yeah. So, I mean, she went down at point like 8, probably. So I can't say that that's why we lost. I mean, was it crucial to how we played? Yes. Luckily, Vanessa talked me into bringing up another player just in case. Yep. And I mean, did it jinx us? Probably a little bit, but she came in the game. She did what I needed her to do, and that's all I can ask. But I just think we did not show up to play.
Kaylee Nielsen was the player that got brought up. And when you bring up someone like that, that's now thrusted into, not that she hasn't practiced with varsity or been around the varsity,
right?
But now you're thrusted into a varsity match. Did you feel she performed admirably considering what she was asked?
Yep, and I just told her she was nervous. I mean, what sophomore wouldn't be nervous stepping on the varsity court for the first time ever? Yep. I just told her, get in, close your block. That's all I care about. Slow down the ball, close your block. Don't worry about offense. We can figure the rest out. And I mean, she did her job, and that's, like I said, that's all I could ask. And props to her for being thrown in literally Friday at 5 o'clock at practice. And then we just went with it on Saturday.
Yeah. And then you look at that match, the second set, you were up 15-11, I think, at one point in the second set.
Yep.
And looked like you were starting to turn that corner. And then I think they had taken a timeout at 14-11, that they had taken a timeout. And then just things just kind of went south after that.
We missed 10 serves. Yeah. I think going into the third set, we had 12 hitting errors, something along those lines. And we didn't show up, plain and simple. And it's unfortunate because you tell your kids all year long, like, oh, I believe in you, like, we can win this game, but they don't do it. Like, I can't do it for them, kind of thing. So it is what it is.
And you knew South was going to be a difficult match because right before that last match of the regular season, they took North to 5 sets. So that's, you knew this wasn't going to be the same team you saw earlier.
Right, and I feel it's the same with our team, though. Like, you improve so much from one game to the next. And it's such a momentum game. So you could have somebody who's playing great one set and somebody who's playing awful the next set, and then you capitalize on all of their errors. Right. Unfortunately, they capitalized on every single error we made, and they were able to get it done, and we could not.
Well, you look at the EDC now with the conference tournament. This is a wide open. It seems like, well, now they're in the, I think the semis coming up here on tomorrow night. Friday night.
Yep.
Still, I mean, yes, North is the top team, but this is a wide open tournament here.
It is. And, the thing is, though, every year I feel like it's the same 6 teams that are in the playoffs and stuff, but I feel this year it could be anybody's match who's having a better night. Yeah. And, I mean, I did go watch North play last night, and they did beat South in 3. Yeah. I mean, but North was down just like us. They opened the first set 1-7. Mm-hmm. I mean, they just were able to come back, and I don't know. I think it's going to be a good tournament.
Well, we, of course, with the end of the season, we talk seniors, but we talked a little bit about your 3 seniors last week. But as a team, a lot of youth, a lot of young players got a chance to see the floor and get quality play. I mean, they were key to your team. How big is that just now, when you look towards next year, the experience that they earned?
It's huge because you always want those younger players to have the experience so that they're not nervous when they get on the court. Mm-hmm. And I think, the younger players that are going to be moving up to varsity, they practiced with us all season long, so I don't think it's going to be as big of an adjustment for them, but we are losing 3 key players, and that's some big shoes to fill. Mm-hmm. Filling Addie's shoes, filling Hadley's shoes, that's 2 middles. That's a huge position, and they're going to have to adjust to the pace of the game, and I think that's probably going to be the hardest thing, going from the pace of the JV level to the pace of the varsity level.
If I'm sure there might be some players watching, but if you said, okay, you younger players, you girls that are going to be seniors, juniors, sophomores next year, what do they need to do to get ready for the next volleyball season?
Work out over the summer.
Yeah.
I already told them.
Yeah.
I said, you better do something over the summer. Because that's probably the hardest thing is coming in. You know, I'm ready to start the season, but we're pushed back 2 weeks because we did nothing all summer long. So, and you know, they just need to have the drive and the motivation. I think we really lacked drive this season. I mean, as much as they say like, oh, we want to win, like we didn't see that in matches necessarily sometimes. It was such a roller coaster. So I'm hoping that with these younger girls, they can getting some of those girls that are energetic on the team, and
Right.
hopefully that'll help.
JO volleyball. Is that sign-ups already kind of started for that?
Tryouts are the day after the state tournament, November 19th.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So I've encouraged them all to do JO volleyball. It's a great thing.
It is.
Keeps them playing throughout the spring, and then once that's done, open gyms start for summer. So plenty of opportunity for them to still play.
Well, we are looking forward to it. There was a lot of good things this year.
A lot.
A lot of good things. A lot of things you could say, well, that was a positive. That look, you know, the future does look very bright with Highlander volleyball. Of course, in 2 years, well, we got that 3-class system. We won't worry about that until 2024, 2025.
Yeah.
But Coach, again, thanks for joining us, and a great year it was. You hate to see it end the way it did.
Yep.
You'd like to get a chance to play at Shields and or move on and play in that East Region tournament, but improve from last year to this year. So now
We did, yep.
Now
So just build off of that.
Build off this year.
Yep.
Coach, thanks very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. You bet. Coach Rebecca Erickson joining us from the Highlander volleyball team. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more Coach's Corner here from the Hack on the Highlander Activity Network. Back here on Coach's Corner on the Highlander Activity Network, and we talked a little bit about this last week with Coach with Madison Yoder. But Student Congress, they had their state competition this past weekend in Bismarck. We have 3 members of the Student Congress team joining us: Ada Gilbertson, Leanne Hochhalter, and Carter Haas. Guys, thanks for joining us tonight.
Yes.
Glad
Thank
to
you.
be here.
Of course.
Now, don't be shy. I've heard you speak. I know you're not shy. So
Definitely not.
we're not. You're not shy. Carter, we'll start with you. Couple of it was a big weekend for you. Not only what you did with state, but nationals. Tell us a little bit about your weekend.
So with state, I tied for third in the Senate, and it was pretty good competition, a lot of good debate, a lot of good questions, and we had a lot of fun. And then for national qualifiers, I made it to Super Chambers, got second place overall, who were competing in the state, and I nationally qualified for the second time.
Do you remember what your resolution was?
Some of our resolutions that we debated had to do with crime, immigration, recidivism rates, psychology, that kind of stuff. So a bunch of different.
I know we were talking with Abby Wilmus last week, and there are some legitimate and resolutions, some far-fetched would be the word I would use, maybe. What were the legitimate ones as far as you're concerned?
I would say the legitimate ones would have been, we had one about hunger and declaring it as a weapon of war and how we should disagree with that, or how we should agree with it almost, and pass that resolution. But, we've already done stuff like that, and there's some good ones like recidivism rates and how they're very high, so we should implement prison rehabilitation programs, which is definitely a good thing to do. Yet there are others where it's just, it's North Dakota legislation. We don't have that NSDA, National Speech and Debate Association style of legislation, so it's kind of what it is.
Sure.
But
Ada, you were a state champ, and was it House 3?
Yes, I was.
So what was that like, getting that?
It was definitely a harder chamber this year. There was a lot of competitive speakers, so you had to really fight to get a speech in, and speaking order was very prevalent. There was also a lot of interesting resolutions in those houses. We talked about colonizing the moon was one of the far stretch one.
Ooh, maybe in about 100 years, but not right now. We're not close to Star Trek stuff right now. And you look at, you were against West Fargo schools and the Fargo schools and bigger schools, and not saying Valley City is a small school, but compared to them, getting a state championship, knowing you're going up against kids like that, how does that make you feel?
It's a good feeling knowing that even though Valley City has a small program, we're still able to have a good quality one and still able to place high at state.
And you're going to do, I know probably use speech as well.
Yes.
And I know Leah, you will as well. So, and that's where we shine. That's where the Highlanders shine. Is that kind of? And I'll ask you this firstly, and all three of you can answer. But and Leah, you were presiding officer as well this year. First out, what was presiding officer? What's that all?
Presiding officer is the person who runs the house basically, and you have an adult next to you, but you do most of the work yourself, and they're just there to check and make sure you're doing your job correctly. Okay. And I get scored as well, but it is still counted as an automatic state championship in a way. Okay. So I was presiding officer for House 2. Okay. And it was this is my second year being presiding officer at state, so I have 2.
So you got 2 now.
I got 2. I have 3 gavels in total because I was. Okay. Your award is a gavel that you get to use, but I was PO presiding officer at West this year too, and then state last year. And it was just I was really scared this year because I had really good competition for other presiding officers, and just getting elected was just, I was so glad.
And you get that state championship.
Yes.
That's the crown there, the top of it. And you said House 2, she was in House 3.
Yep.
Can you be presiding officer when you have a teammate in it, or doesn't it matter?
Yeah, so we kind of had approximately 2 team members per house. We didn't have anybody in House 1, but only one person usually from your school runs. That's how Valley does it. But there are multiple people running for presiding officer, but usually just one from each school.
How do you run for that? Is that
your coach? Yeah, your coach tells you if you are ready to be presiding officer. They ask, do you want to? And I wanted to run, and I like to ask my teammates, are you cool if I run? Yeah. Do you want to? Because I don't want to take an opportunity away from somebody else.
Sure.
And then you can't run for PO unless your coach registers you as that, because on the registration sheet for the adults in the room, it has a star next to your name if you're running or not. Okay. So that's how you kind of run and get into the process. And then you write a speech, give it at the beginning, and then hopefully get enough votes to be elected.
And you just get the one speech and it's
one speech.
And that's it.
Make that good.
And away you go. Now for you, Ada, with when did you find out? I mean, you're scored and stuff. When did they say, okay, first place Do they go descending order when they give scores, or?
When they give scores, they start at 8th place. So during they announce like your presiding officer champion. So they'll go like, for my house, they told who the presiding officer was. They went out and got their trophy or their gavel, and then it goes. They start at 8th place and they go up. So when you get up to like the closer places, you're like, your heart is beating and you're like, did I make it? Did I make it? And it's a really cool feeling once you get to first and they say your name and everybody stands up and is clapping, and it's a pretty cool feeling, but it's very stressful
Very
in the
stressful.
moment.
Did you feel you did well enough to
Yeah.
score that high?
It was definitely, I wasn't sure, like, for placing just because it was a really tight chamber and there's so many good speakers. So it was definitely nerve-wracking, like, once you got up there, like, did I actually do good enough? Because there was a lot of good speakers with a really great potential there. It was
Okay.
great to compete against.
Well, now I'll ask all three of you the same, and you might all answer the same question, but we were just talking about speech. Did you kind of look at Student Congress, Carter, as kind of getting yourself ready for the speech season?
I mean, to an extent, definitely, because Student Congress is that impromptu and extemp, right? You go up there, give your speech, hope it's good, and sometimes you just have to write on the fly. And it definitely prepares you for something that's bigger, which Valley City leads in, speech and debate, which
Yep.
is pretty cool.
How about you, Ada?
I definitely think Student Congress is great at like getting your confidence back up, like remembering how you speak and getting back into the flow of things for speech season. And it definitely helps bring in like newer kids into the speaking atmosphere so they can get used to it for their first speech season. And it can definitely help improve, as Carter said, like your ability to speak on the fly and your ability to have confidence even when you don't feel like it.
Okay. Lee, how about you?
I joined Congress my 7th grade year, and I was the only 7th grader in it, so it was scary, but I think for any upcoming junior high kids, and even if you're in high school, but I just think it's a good intro into the world of speaking. And if you think Congress is scary and you don't want to do speech, I think you should just stick it through to speech season, because speech season is a breeze compared to Congress. And for a lot of people, Congress, people join and they're just a whiz at it, but others, it's harder than others. So it's really your skill level, but Congress is definitely an intro into public speaking and getting your nerves out. And I, as a 7th grader, as scary as it was for me, it definitely paid off when speech season started, because you already have experienced public speaking and you don't have to have a rundown of like eye contact, stuttering, and it's
You've
just
been
a good,
coached.
yeah, you've been coached already, like pre-coach. So it's a good intro into the world of speech.
I'll speak. Politics in your future?
Definitely politics in my future. And fun fact, I'm already writing legislation to submit to the NSDA.
Okay.
And if I get picked, I'll get like a $100 scholarship, big trophy, and they'll put me up on the stage. So as long as I can get approval from Gail Hyde is her name, she kind of runs the Congress Team North Dakota, then I should be able to submit that and get ready to go. So it's cool.
How about you two? You're not really.
That's not my thing, but
Not my field, but I'll encourage Carter
Yes.
to decide.
We can encourage Carter from. We'll be
Yeah.
from behind. We'll just stand. What's your legislation?
So I had to write a resolution, of course, for the state of North Dakota, because they have to get them from the kids, and mine was on a resolution for this Congress to establish a second constitutional convention.
Okay.
And so typically you need 34 states, right, in real Congress to say we want a second constitutional convention, and then they do it. So that was mine. And then for the national level, I think it could be anywhere from like Medicare topics to recidivism rates. I might look into that. And then also just topics with our military, spending, all that good stuff. And they actually let you do constitutional amendments at a national level, which I think could be really fun to play around with.
Okay.
So,
Well, how about taxing your Social Security check? They shouldn't tax your Social Security.
absolutely not. Absolutely.
I'm not there yet. Trust me. We got a ways to go before we worry about that. Now we're going to switch gears because, ladies, I know Frozen is the fall play that's coming up next week.
yes.
And is it Frozen?
Yes,
Is it
Frozen Junior
Frozen
technically, but
So I guess I'm going to ask. I'll start off with you, Ada. What part do you play?
I'm not in Frozen,
Oh,
actually.
you're not. You are.
I am,
You are.
yeah.
I'm sorry, I got them confused. See, I'm old. I need that Social Security check. Leah, what do you have?
I'm Anna, so it's one of the sisters,
Okay.
and Elsa is the other one, but I
How's
play
the
Anna.
rehearsals been going?
Good. This is one of the plays I've been actually excited to come to practice, and it's really cool because it's 7th through 12th instead of just the senior high. So I get to kind of coach younger kids in the world of theater.
In the world of theater.
Yes.
When are shows?
Show next week is our opening week. We have a matinee on Wednesday for some elementary school students, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday it's at 6:30, the 16th through the 19th, and then the Sunday performance is at 1:30.
Okay.
So
And at the high school, junior
At the high
theater,
school, yep.
At the same theater. And we do the matinee that we do on the Highland Activity Network, but we're not going to do anything because we want people to go. So we're not doing anything. You're not going to be able to see it online. You've got to go buy a ticket. And I'm sure tickets at the door.
yes, no pre-sale.
No pre-sale.
Just
So
at the
come
door.
on. But a lot of opportunities though with evening shows and your matinees over
Yes.
3-4 nights. Excited?
I am. I'm super excited. My mom is doing some of the costumes, so I'm excited for those. And the sets are really pretty this year. And just the whole feel of the show is kind of different than what we're used to, so I'm just really excited. And yeah.
And second year with Abby Brown as your director, I think, second play that she's
Yes.
directed. So
Her first musical though. So.
First musical?
Yeah.
How's she been doing?
Good.
Because
Really
I know
good.
Abigail, so
Yes.
I can say that.
No, it's a great coach, great director. I wouldn't want anyone else. I really like her.
How is this different than Frozen?
Well, okay, a junior musical, technically you're not allowed to have a pit band, because some people ask me about that. If you, for a junior musical, use a pit orchestra, you can get in trouble. So that's why you just have piano accompaniment. So that's what junior means. And it's just shorter, so it should run about 60 minutes, give or take a few.
Right.
Probably give.
Is Olaf in it?
Yes.
Who's Olaf?
Olaf is played by Sam Thiel, a sophomore. So.
Okay. That's
Yes.
one of the only characters I know. I'm
Yes.
sorry. Wasn't a Frozen fan because my son's not old enough to be a Frozen fan. So he's too old to be a Frozen fan. So I'm not a Frozen fan. Olaf is the only one. That's probably
Yeah.
one everybody knows Olaf.
Yes. Great character, great casting.
Good, with Sam, good casting. Sam?
Yes.
Good. Okay, well, you got to have good casting. So that'll be next week on again, what are the date? The Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights and Sunday
Yep.
afternoon
Yes.
at 6:30, and then Sunday afternoon at 1:30.
Yep. It used to be 7:30, so just want to make sure
Okay.
6:30 is the new show, just so it's not so late
Sure.
when we end.
Okay, so there you go. 6:30 next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights, and then 1:30 on Sunday afternoon. Frozen Junior at the junior high and senior high theater. I guess for nationals now, what is next up for you as far as the nationals are concerned?
So, obviously, speech season, all that good stuff. But when nationals comes up, it should be somewhere in June, right? We'll have speech national qualifiers, so people on the speech team can try to nationally qualify and make it. And then our team will have 2 spots, as every other team in North Dakota does, for what are called supplemental events in nationals. And it's the same as any other event, you just get picked out of your state. And so then you compete in those, but once again, you have to get picked. And then we'll go on the nationals bus, get our fundraising, work hard, and start the debate, start the talking. And if I may, forensics in Valley City has always been such an amazing thing. I mean,
yeah.
We bring in and do so much, and it's crazy how it can change your life, get you scholarships, do so much for you. And the environments, the team environments, are probably the best at anywhere, at least in my opinion.
Right. You didn't do nationals, I'm assuming, either of you two, or did you try to qualify for nationals?
I did try to qualify, but student congress isn't my thing. I'm
Wait to
more
speech.
speech is my favorite thing. So
Same for you, Leanne?
Yeah, I didn't go this year, but for speech, I will be fully prepared to bring my all, try to qualify for nationals.
Ready to get after
Like
it.
last year, yeah.
Want to get after it. Well, one person I want to mention that just want to congratulate, because all 3 of these people know this young lady, and so do we, is Abby Ingstead, our former coach here at Valley City, was named Coach of the Year in the state, and she's out at West Fargo, and you said she brought their program a long way.
Abby Ingstead has done some amazing things with West Fargo. I mean, their program is going to be huge. Once they start getting those seniors in, the class starts going up, they participate in debate, and they're a West Fargo school, so they can go to meets in Moorhead, South Dakota. They're going to do some really big things, so she's definitely a really good coach.
How cool was it just to get a chance to see her again?
It was
So
great.
Yeah,
When she got called Coach of the Year, I was like, she deserves it.
yeah, because I mean she's been doing it a long time, a very long time. She helped Nick Lee and then she took over. So congratulations to Abby Ingstead, our own. We're going to still call her own Abby Ingstead, getting Coach of the Year in the state. She's just at West Fargo Public School or West Fargo High School?
West Fargo High School.
High school, just the Packers. So just for them. But well, guys, I appreciate you joining us tonight. Congratulations on a fun state. And I was going to ask. I know that some congressmen can listen in. Even though you don't know they're listening, did you have anybody say anything to you, any of you? Any of our congressmen come? Because they're not supposed to talk to you, I know. They can listen, but they're not supposed to talk to you. But I mean, afterwards, when it was all said and done, did you meet any of the politicians or no?
Sadly, no.
Nope.
Is that no?
One of them talked to the whole house though, and just
Okay.
kind of.
Okay. So you could have, put a bug in their ear. Hey, I got a couple of resolutions to work on.
He was, who was he? He had like a position in the,
The
I
treasurer?
think treasury.
yeah, Treasury. And
Okay.
he like talked to some of us after chambers were over,
Sure.
but really nothing to.
Because I know that they're not allowed to talk to you when you're there. They can listen in, but they can't actually talk to you, which is probably better for you guys. But guys, I appreciate it. Congratulations on a great student congress season. Look forward to January when we get into speech, because that'll probably when your first meet will be sometime in January, I'm assuming.
Yep, late
So it's
January.
right after you get back from Christmas break, and we're talking Christmas break. Wait, but you get back from that. But now the play next week, Leah, for you, as
Yes.
they say. Break a leg, because I
Thank
can't
you.
say the other thing, but don't literally do it.
No.
Just have fun and enjoy it, and should be a fun week next week for the fall play. Again, it's Frozen Junior, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night at 6:30, 1:30 Sunday afternoon at the Junior High and Senior High Theater. No pre-sale, so you gotta show up early, get your seats, and get your tickets then. Guys, thanks for joining us, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that is, again, is Eddie Gilbertson, Leah Hochhalter, and Carter Haas from the Student Congress. And then in about 3 months, we'll talk to them during speech season when that can start happening first of the year. We'll be back, wrap things up with Coach's Corner for this week, coming back from the Highland Activity Network. Back here on Coach's Corner on the Highliner Activity Network, and coming up here, just a reminder, we will not have a show next Wednesday night, but we will be back on November 22nd, and on that night, we're going to be wrapping up the football season because all conference and all state teams will have been named. Of course, the state championship, the Dakota Bowl, coming up on Friday night. Fargo North and Grand Forks Central will be playing in that Dakota Bowl on Friday at the Fargo Dome in Class AA. So we'll also be wrapping up the football season with that, and we're going to chat Thunder football, wrapping up the Thunder football season as well, coming up next week, as the fall sports season is just about complete, as the state volleyball and state football, the last two that'll be going on. And then I know basketball practice starts on Monday. Wrestling has already got started, and first wrestling meet here in Valley City is coming up here in about 2 weeks. And we'll have that first wrestling match here in Valley City. So it's going to be that little downtime. But again, no show next week, but we will be back with another Coach's Corner here on November 22nd. Again, my thanks to our guests tonight, Rebecca Erickson from Highlander Volleyball, Ada Gilbertson, Leah Hochhalter, and Carter Haas from the Highlander Student Congress, and of course Jane Johnson, our technical director, cameraman here as for us this evening as well. Again, no show next week, but we will be back 2 weeks from tonight, November 22nd. That's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and that will be at 6 o'clock start time. Coach's Corner here from the Hack on the Highlander Activity Network.